show you my toys.
Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're looking at the Jazwares Fortnite Skulltrooper Purple Glow action figure. Jazwares is known for making 4-inch smaller Fortnite action figures, and I personally don't like that smaller scale, so I avoided that line. Now that they're dropping 6-inch stuff, it's really caught my attention. You may notice that I've got 4 of these figures. I think they're going to make some pretty cool Scarecrow thugs in my Batman world. So let's check out the packaging here. You can see Epic Games, Fortnite, Legendary Series, that is what the 6-inch figures are called, ages 8+, 40 points of articulation, Skulltrooper, 8 pieces. Looks like he has a suppressed AR, a pickaxe, his back bling, 3 different heads, looks like a big pot, and a grenade. So the top of the package has nothing going on. Side has him posed up. Other side is the exact same thing. The bottom has a barcode as well as a bunch of credits. Backside has him as well as the rest of the wave. We've got Wildcard, Rabbit Raider, Havoc, Enforcer, the Visitor, and more coming soon. I can't wait to see what Wave 2 is in its entirety. So with no further ado, let's open these guys up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with his accessories laid out, and he does come with quite a bit. He comes with a back bling called the Ghost Portal. He has a suppressed assault rifle, 3 different faces with different expressions, a grenade, a big pot, which gives you 50 shields. Then he's got a pickaxe called the Reaper. But before we look at the accessories, let's check out the actual figure. Here he is, the purple version of the Skulltrooper. Looking pretty nice. Kind of happy, smiling on his face. He's got the skeleton on top of his black outfit. Looks pretty cool. Very slightly smaller version of the McFarlane figure. Overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Got the little bandana or sash on his arm, just like in the game. Overall, pretty cool. I did get 4 of these guys to use as Scarecrow thugs. I have 4 of each of the McFarlane releases as well, totaling 12 Skulltroopers, which is pretty crazy. But arm building sure is my thing. And then here he is broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable parts detached. You can see his face completely blank right now with the 3 different options laying in front of him. And then here are all 4 of them broken down as far as they can go. Next, let's look at his accessories. Let's start out by checking out his 3 different faceplates. Here's the first one. This is one I consider to be the most standard, probably going to be most of my default one. His eyebrows are level, he's got a grin on his face. Then here's the next one. Very similar to the previous one, he's grinning a little bit more and his right eyebrow is risen just a little bit. And then here's the third one, kind of looks like he's scared or in shock. I can think of several different good uses for that as a Scarecrow thug, having a scared expression. And then here are all 3 of them with the different faceplates on their heads. These different faceplates give them the ability to have different expressions, looks pretty cool. Each 3 has kind of a unique look to them for different situations. Next, let's check out his back bling. It is called the Ghost Portal. Looks pretty cool, kind of a portal to another world. You can see the peg where it'll connect to his back. And then here he is wearing his back bling. Just like in the game, the back blings are customizable and interchangeable. With the figures, it's no different. They're interchangeable between characters. And as you can see here, the back blings are totally interchangeable between the different Jazwares figures. And then here's his back bling next to all the different Jazwares back blings from Series 1. Pretty cool, you have a lot of different options to customize your characters. And then is his back bling interchangeable with McFarlane figures? The short answer is no. Here's the McFarlane Skulltrooper. You can see his back bling attached. Then you can see this guy's back bling attached. This guy's peg is a little bit bigger than the McFarlane one that fits into his back. So if you try to put this inside of here, simply is not going to fit. You can push as hard as you want, it's not going to happen. And then if you take his and put it inside of here, it's way too loose and comes out super, super easy. It'll never stay in there. So they're not interchangeable between the two different lines. And that is unfortunate. Next, let's check out his pickaxe. This thing is called the Reaper. It's a scythe. Here he is holding the Reaper. And then, of course, he's wondering what is that noise back there. Comes here, starts chopping and harvesting materials, some brick. And then, of course, he chops his way all the way through, exposing the chest that was making all that noise. And then here's his pickaxe compared to the rest of the Jazwares Series 1 figures pickaxes. And then here are the Jazwares pickaxes compared to some McFarlane pickaxes. We've got two on either side here. They're a little bit better detailed and a little bit bigger than the Jazwares ones, but not by much. And then if you're curious if the pickaxes are interchangeable between the McFarlane and Jazwares lines, they sure are. As you can see here, we've got the Jazwares holding some McFarlane pickaxes and vice versa. And then here are his Reapers with some scythes or sickles from my collection, mostly from Scarecrow action figures. Next, let's look at his grenade. Pretty small weapon, nice little detail. It's got the kind of greenish color in the middle, silver on the edge. You see the almost sort of trigger area. Looks like he's going to be able to hold it pretty nicely. And then here he is holding the grenade. Fits nicely in his hand, no real issues there. Here he is holding his grenade in a throwing manner, like he's getting ready to toss it at somebody. And that's another benefit of getting multiple Skulltroopers, get multiple grenades. You can see there are 5 grenades here from each of the 4 Skulltroopers, and the visitor figure also came with one. In the game you get 3 at a time, so it's pretty cool to have multiples. That's one thing I absolutely love about these smaller accessories. Jazwares gave you more than McFarlane did. McFarlane gave you the pickaxe, the back bling, and a gun. Jazwares gave you the pickaxe, back bling, gun, plus an explosive weapon or a heal. Really like those. And if you're curious if the McFarlane figures can hold the grenades, they sure can. You kind of have to force it in their hands, but it works pretty well. Next, let's check out this guy's big pot. You can see here, a little jar, glass jar. It's got an area here you can sort of shove his hand into to help him hold it. And then here he is holding his big pot, getting ready to drink it, getting ready to shield up. You have to slide all 4 of his fingers, minus his thumb, inside of there to make it work properly. And then here he is drinking it down. And then here he is keeping it 100. And then here are all the different various healing and shield items that Jazwares has made so far. We've got bandages, a chug jug, a big pot, and a med kit. Next, let's check out his weapon. This is a suppressed AR, pretty much a silenced assault rifle. This weapon is no longer in the game. It's been vaulted for a little while now. It was always a pretty decent AR though. I do like how big it is and the way it looks. Pretty nice gun. And then here he is holding his suppressed AR, getting ready to go take some people out. Looking pretty good. Trigger finger fits in the trigger pretty nicely. And then here is Skulltrooper suppressed AR from Jazwares next to a scar from Jazwares. Here's a scar from McFarlane as well as a regular AR from McFarlane. The weapons scale up pretty nicely together. And then if you're curious if the weapons fit in with the McFarlane figures, they sure do. The guy's trigger finger can even fit into the trigger. That's one thing I can say about these Jazwares and McFarlane figures. Their weapons are definitely interchangeable and work perfect with each other. Next, let's see how it fits in with some other Fortnite type of accessories. Ones that did not come with this action figure. Here he is next to the Mako glider pack that came with McFarlane figures. designed for 7-inch, slightly larger Fortnite figures. Let's see, does he fit in well with this? Here's a launch pad behind him. Maybe it's a little large for him, but definitely works out just fine. And then you can see the glider slightly above. Can he hold on to it? And the answer is yes, he does hold on to it. He does fit in pretty good scale-wise. Just his hands are becoming quite a pain in the ass to do anything with. He has these articulated fingers. It was really, really hard to get him to be on this thing. I probably could have made it look a little better, but it would take a really long time. It took me well over 5 minutes to get him up here just as it is. And then here he is opening a chest while his squad protects him. This chest is from the 4-inch Jazwares line. Really was completely oversized for them. It's even oversized for these guys, but it works pretty well in my opinion. And then here he is opening up a llama. Once again, this isn't from this 6-inch Legendary Jazwares line. This is a stuffed llama that I found at Walmart, but it's a pretty nice fill-in for now. I'm sure eventually one of these companies is going to give us a real llama for the figures. And then here they are healing up with a campfire. What a bunch of noobs taking a risk and doing it without walling up. Here they are with some shopping carts. Each one a team of duos taking on the other one, charging each other with shopping carts and shooting. Sure, the shopping carts are vaulted from the game, but I've always really enjoyed this shopping cart that I have to enhance my Fortnite figures. It looks a little bit oversized for the Jazwares guys, maybe even a little bit oversized for the McFarlane ones, but I think it's pretty much exactly the size of the one that McFarlane is going to be releasing soon. And then here they are, full squad. Each one has balloons, get ready to jump to different heights and get across the map faster than usual. Now that we've taken a pretty in-depth look at his accessories as well as other accessories that can be used for him, let's check out the height of this figure. The McFarlane figures are 7 inches tall. These Jazwares figures are more like 6 inches tall. Wish they were a little bit closer in scale. So this guy here looks like he's sitting at just about 6 inches even, maybe a hair shorter. I'd say right about 6.0. Next, let's check out this figure's articulation, and it is quite a bit. So let's start with his head. Of course, it can go around completely. It can look down, not too far. This sort of scarf thing seems to obstruct a little bit, and it can look up that far, which is quite nice. Allows him to aim up, shoot people off roofs, etc., etc. His shoulders, they go up more than 90 degrees. He's got sort of ball joint in here. There's another separate piece of plastic between his chest and his ball joint. It allows for extra articulation. You can see that thing can move on its own, and then his ball joint can move independently of that as well. He's got a bicep cut here as well. Then he's got double jointed elbows. He can go all the way up. He can scratch his head. He could cover up his mouth, etc., etc. His wrist, of course, it can swivel, and it is hinged as well. Then he's got finger articulation. I must say I'm not too impressed with the finger articulation. Feels like it could get loose over time, and as it is, it's almost too loose to hold his weapon properly as it is. It can be very delicate to get that balance right. His, not so much, because trigger finger will go in there, but I had a lot of trouble with some of the other figures. Then he's got his waist. He's got sort of ball joint in here. Of course, it can go around. It can also go forward as well as back, so it can really sort of move around quite a bit. He's got traditional waist swivel below that. Then his legs, they can go out just about 90 degrees. This side's blocked by his pocket sort of pouch thing. Go forward that far, back really not at all. He's got a thigh cut here. Double jointed knees. He's got sort of a shin cut as well. Then his legs, his feet can go up and down. He has toe articulation as well. They can go around, and if you kind of rotate the joint inside of here, you can sort of rock them as well. Next, I would like to compare him to other action figures and other action figure lines, see how he fits in scale and style-wise. First, focusing on other Fortnite type figures. Of course, here he is with his gang of 4 Skulltroopers. Here he is with my entire Jazwares Fortnite collection. Got the entire first series as well as multiples of Skulltrooper and Wildcard for my Batman universe. Here they are next to a couple of McFarlane Fortnite figures. Unfortunately, they don't scale up together quite as well as I'd hope they would. There's a better part of a full inch difference between them. I'm still going to be mixing them in some of my Fortnite displays. Maybe I'll have these guys on the sidewalk and these guys on the table in front of them. Maybe I'll have these guys on the upper level of this diorama, etc., etc. They still work together if you're not picky. Now these are actually the third version of the Skulltrooper to be released. McFarlane made the Skulltrooper in their very first assortment of figures. Later there was a Walgreens exclusive with the green glow Skulltrooper. And now Jazwares has made the purple version of the Skulltrooper. I got a ton of these McFarlane Skulltroopers to use as Scarecrow thugs, so they work perfectly. Guys in sort of a skeleton outfit, Scarecrow making him wear. I decided to get 4 of the first one. Then of course the Walgreens exclusive came out. I had to get 4 of him. And then the Jazwares came out. What else could I do but continue the suit and get 4 of them as well. And then here they are, all 12 of my Skulltroopers. Getting a little out of hand here. Scarecrow has plenty of thugs. Too many, one could even argue. Now here's my entire Fortnite 6 and 7 inch collection, complete in its entirety. Absolutely all the Jazwares and McFarlane figures they've released so far. I believe the next thing that will be released is going to be the McFarlane Wildcard. Can't wait to get a few of those. The collection's getting pretty impressive, if I may say so. And here's my entire Fortnite collection in a big battle royale. You can see here in the city, fighting each other, aiming, sniping, gliding, all that fun stuff. I thought these Skulltroopers would work pretty good with a Scarecrow like this. This is a Mattel DC superhero Scarecrow. He's a little bit taller than them, but that works out well. Jonathan Crane has always been very tall in the Batman world. And this is the type of Batman and Robin action figure I envisioned fighting these Skulltroopers. And then, of course, this is the style and size Scarecrow that I envisioned the McFarlane figures working for. And then here are the Skulltrooper figures as Scarecrow thugs with some Arkham Batman figures getting ready to be taken down. And then here they are with some other figures I use for Scarecrow thugs in my action figure world. These are Hasbro's Marvel Legends Jack-o'-lantern, the most recent version of him they've released. And then of course I also have the older Marvel Legends version of the Jack-o'-lantern. And then just cause, here's the old Toy Biz 5-inch version of the same character. And then I've also got these guys that I put together with some extra accessories I had. Arkham Knight style Scarecrow thugs. Next, let's look at him with some different action figure lines to see how he fits in, which ones he fits in scale-wise and style-wise. I will start out my comparisons with larger action figure lines, moving their waist smaller. Here he is next to 4 different action figure lines from Diamond Select Toys, DST Toys. They're definitely quite a bit larger than the Jazwares figures. And then here he is next to 4 different McFarlane Toys action figure lines. Even though he is shorter than them, the other McFarlane lines do scale up nicely with the McFarlane Fortnite figures. Here he is as he would scale up with NECA action figures. Here he is as he would scale up next to various DC Direct and DC Collectibles action figures. Here he is as he would scale up next to some various Mezco 112 Klossgood action figures. Here he is as he would scale up with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. Here he is as he would scale up with some Mafex action figures. And then here he is as he would scale up with some Hasbro Marvel Legends scale figures. And then here he is as he would fit in with some Mattel Movie Master action figures. These are a slightly smaller scale than the DC Universe Classics figures. And then here he is as he would scale up with some SH Figure Arts action figures. So all in all, he has a pretty solid figure. His articulation is nice. My biggest complaint about him would be his finger articulation can be a little bit annoying, and he's smaller than I would have liked. I'm going to go ahead and rate this figure a 6.5 out of 10. I'm probably overrating him just a tiny bit because I really like army building. He's probably really worth about a 6 out of 10. Main reason is because he's just a little bit smaller than I'd like. If he was a quarter-inch taller, he'd be perfect for me. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.